Well, that was awful, but let's keep things in perspective, okay? Well, I definitely don't want to come on here and talk about the Gators every video. That's not the point, but that is currently what's going on. It's just football season. And when it comes to things to ramble about, the Gators definitely give me things to ramble about. What an absolute joke of a game that was against Kentucky last night. So I was watching it like I was doing something else as I was watching, because I'm like, the season's a wash. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's over already. But I thought for sure, like, if there's any game we're going to win this remainder of what's left of the season, it was definitely going to be Kentucky. I was like, so Tennessee might beat us, Ole Miss might beat us, Florida State 50-50, but for sure, Kentucky being the worst team this year, we're definitely going to at least get a win over them. And they beat the absolute crap out of us. But, I don't think I was as mad as everybody else was about it. So if you didn't know, Kentucky beat Florida 38-7. That is not a typo. And it was just a lot of the ghost of Billy Napier is kind of how I looked at it. Because a lot of the things that we're used to seeing under Napier was present. I can't remember what game it was. I was watching. I know I went to one. I went to the Kentucky game. Was it his first year? It might have been Napier's first year. I'm not sure. It was the one where Anthony Richardson played like absolute dog crap. I actually went to that game, and it was like every other game after that, not just Kentucky, but a lot of games, but Kentucky, where you've seen the team doing stuff, and this was kind of my gripe with Napier, was that you play the entire first half and look like absolute crap, and you'd be like, oh, well, for sure, because common sense would tell you for sure this thing, this strategy that I'm trying to employ is not working. It's not working. So at halftime, we're going to go into the locker room and we're going to say, okay, that's not working. So we're going to do this now. So we're going to, do the different thing. And that time after time under Napier, they would come out and they would keep doing the same thing that wasn't working in the first half. And that was especially true in Kentucky. Like I said, that one year where their running back just ran all over us. You could say at halftime, hey, let's focus more attention on stopping the run. And they didn't do that. And that was a similar experience to what I felt last night, when offensively we're trying things and they ain't working. And I will, give Billy Gonzalez credit. He did pull Lagway, which is something we've all been wanting to see. I mean, Lagway is such a hard thing to discuss because we know the kid's good. Like we saw last year that he's good, and this year he's not. He's not good. And it's like it pains us to want to pull him out of the game because we know he's good. He showed it, but he's not good now. So we're kind of like, hate to do this to you, bud, but you got to come out. You got to sit. So, and Napier wouldn't do that. And Billy G did. He pulled him out after halftime. Pulled him out, put Tramel Jones in there, which everybody's like, well, let's see what Tramel Jones can do. Well, in that situation, now, he might be better if he starts the next game, which I don't know. I haven't heard if he is going to or not. But if he starts the next game, he might have a better shot, because he wasn't. He was thrown into a game after halftime, and it was like, okay, we'll go see. It's like throwing somebody in the pool that don't know how to swim. Like, let him prepare. But he didn't have no time for that. Now, granted, yes, backup quarterback should always be ready. He was ready to do quarterback things. He wasn't going to go in there and light the place on fire. So he did okay. It was kind of too little too late at the point when he came in there. But anyway, back to my other point. We saw a lot of Billy in this game. A whole lot of, hey, this ain't working, but we're going to keep doing it anyway kind of thing. And that was frustrating. A lot of people saying the team quit. Obviously, it looked like the team quit. And there's one guy, was it Tank Hawkins, that decided he's done playing for the year because he wants to preserve that year of eligibility. So he sat out. So that's definitely a morale killer, I'm sure, in the locker room. I'm kind of surprised he was the only one. At least the only one I heard about. And it was just like they gave up. I'm looking at the box score here, 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Kentucky scored 21 unanswered. And then in the third quarter, they scored 7 more. Then in the fourth quarter, they scored 7 more. So Florida scored a touchdown in the first quarter and then never scored again the entire game. So it was definitely frustrating to watch both sides of the ball not be able to do a daggum thing. And no real changes were made. I mean, granted, they put another quarterback in, but other than that, it was like every other game where you watched Billy coach and you're like, oh, I know exactly what play he's going to call here because he calls the same play here every time. And the other team knows exactly what play he's going to call there too because he calls the same play every time. And that was kind of what we saw last night. A lot of Florida trying to do the same thing over and over again, and Kentucky knowing exactly what they were going to do. So there was no real element of surprise, no real creativity. And it is what it is. But the thing is, obviously you don't want to lose, especially you don't want to lose to Kentucky, a team that was hot garbage. And they will continue to be hot garbage. But at the same time, when we fired Billy, and we all wanted him fired, except for apparently a few people that I saw on Facebook earlier, we should have never fired Billy. Are you absolutely insane? Do you know anything about how football works? Do you watch the same games I watch? Firing Billy was 100% the right thing to do. If we lose every game after that, who cares? And we might. We've lost every game after that since, at the moment. We've lost 2 games in a row since we fired Billy. But it don't matter. As soon as we pulled the trigger to fire Billy, which we should have done last year, we essentially forfeited the rest of the season. I mean, I'm sure, that's not how the football team and the athletic department, I'm sure that's not what they thought. But that's essentially what we did. Like any other team that fires their coach halfway through the season, they're like, hey, we've been crap up to this point. If we're crap the rest of the year, it ain't nothing new. And that's kind of the take I had. We were crap up until the Mississippi State game when we got rid of Billy. If we're crap the rest of the year, what's different than the beginning? If these players had rallied around Gonzalez and just won every game, cool, but don't really mean nothing. And if they come out and lose every game under Billy Gonzalez, which they're on track to do that, big deal. It doesn't change anything. We're still getting a new coach at the end of the season. So, it sucks that we lost to Kentucky. especially the way that we lost to them. But at the same time, like, who cares? Like, we've already sent the season on down the road. Like, there's games that we have to play, and we would like to win those games. But if we don't, big deal. The season's already garbage. The whole staff is getting canned at the end of the year. Probably most of them. I wish Scott Strickland was getting canned, but anyway, next year is going to be, I know we're tired of saying it, but next year is going to be a fresh, clean slate. Start over. Start rebuilding. I hate saying that, especially having to say it so many times, but this is where we're at. And the powers that be that's out of our control is what brought us here. And do we have confidence that they're going to make it better in the future? Unlikely, but this is the hand that we're dealt. It's the one we got to play. Like, there ain't none of us fans that can walk into the offices up there at UF and be like, this is what's going to happen. Like, we can't do that. Scott Strickland is in charge, unfortunately, and we got to hope he makes the right decision. And if he don't, ain't nothing we can do about it. So, just, I would never. There's some games I don't watch. Like, if you have something else you have to do. Like, take you back in time when I got married in 2019. When me and her were planning our wedding, I made sure it was on a bye week. It was in 2019, and it was the weekend before Georgia. So it was the bye week before Georgia, and we got married. But when your team's playing like this, say your buddy's getting married, and you're like, well, I can't go because the game's on. Well, maybe now you can't. The games ain't really necessarily worth watching. So that's how I was last night. I was sitting in that chair back there. I was playing PlayStation. I had the game on the computer here. So I was, still watching the game and whatnot. But after halftime, I still had the game on, but I quit listening to it. I put my headphones on and just was listening to music and playing PlayStation. And I'd occasionally glance over here to see how much of a crap show was going on. So I just wanted to bring some clarity to the situation. I was teaching in Sunday school this morning about how we focus on things that are not important. Like, we focus on politics and career and money and all this thing when Jesus is what we should be focusing on. And the same thing can be said somewhat about the Gators season. Like, we focus on who's going to be our next head coach. How's the team? Why is the team so bad? It just is. It is because we had a coach for the last 3.5 years who was not qualified to coach at this level. Now he's gone, and we got to pick up the pieces. But the thing is, like I tell people all the time when it comes to politics and how I don't argue with people about politics online, I can't do nothing about it. Like, oh, can you believe Congress is doing this? Nothing I can do about it. The only time I can do something is go to the poll and vote. But in between voting day, or election day, and the next election day, I can't do nothing. There ain't nothing I can do to stop it or change it or anything. And that's kind of how it is now. Gators are playing like crap, but they got an interim coach, a guy who's never coached before as a head coach. And it just is what it is. And there ain't nothing we can do about it till the end of the season. And we ain't going to do nothing about it anyway. They're going to hire the coach. So there's possibly good times coming. But unfortunately, we got to get through now and November 29th, I guess, when we play Florida State. And that'll be our last game because we are damn sure not going to a bowl game. So, I know you're going to watch, if you even watch this. I don't know who's even watching these videos. I don't really pay attention. But you're going to probably watch, your High Top Sports, your Gators Breakdown, your Alley Peak, your Stadium and Gale, stuff I watch anyway. And they're going to have their much more informed opinions than I do. But we made a decision. We didn't make it, but it was the decision we wanted to get rid of our coach because we thought that was the best thing. And it was, in my opinion, it was the best thing. So now we have to deal with the consequences for just a few more games. And then things, hopefully, will pick up for the better going forward. We just got to get through this trash fire. It's only a few more weeks. We'll be all right. And then brighter days are ahead. At least we can tell ourselves brighter days are ahead. So hang in there, Gator Nation, and let's look forward to some better days on the horizon. I'm Stormin' Norman, and I have rambled on.